welcome to my Agatha All Along reviews. It's episode 2 of our reviews, since episode 1 and 2 of the show premiered back to back, but episode 3 of Agatha All Along, so that won't get confusing at all. But no, we're on episode 3. These reviews going forward won't be as in-depth as the first one, so very light on spoilers, if any. With some of the mysteries in the show, I'll give some theories. But obviously, those aren't spoilers; those are theories. Maybe future spoilers, but they are not. They are not spoilers at all. So, in this one, we find our witch's coven walking down the road, and they have to go about trials and tribulations to get to the end of the road. And in this particular episode, they end up in a house, and they all look like, mid-2000s housewives. I thought we were going to go back to the episode structure that was with WandaVision and the start of Agatha All Along, but no, it's just a setting for them to drink wine and be winos. And when they drank the wine at first, it was just one bottle of wine, and I saw how much their glasses were filled. And as someone who drinks wine with his wife and friends and family and goes to wineries, I was like, that one bottle did not fill up all those glasses that much. But we later see that the glasses can refill themselves. So it's a magical bottle of wine. So I guess it could have enough wine to do all that. But yeah, and then we get some good suspense with this episode. There is a literal ticking clock for them to figure out what they have to do in these trials and tribulations. So there's some good suspense there. A little bit past the halfway mark, we get some scares, some chills, some suspenseful scenes, which is pretty cool. It got me thinking about the show. I kind of wish they leaned more into the horror aspect. Like, I know it's kind of a comedy and things like that. Though I will say, even though I liked the episode and it was an interesting episode, not a lot of laughs to be had. There were a couple jokes that were okay, but not super funny or anything like that. But when they started to do like the chilling scenes and stuff like that, I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I feel this show, if it leaned into the horror, like went for a TV teen, TV MA kind of thing, it might work a lot better. So maybe a missed opportunity there. I would like to see Marvel take some of their horror characters and do more horror stuff. It doesn't have to be like rated R, super scary, super violent horror, but kind of that comic book horror kind of thing where it's just scary enough to where as an adult you'll enjoy it, but it might like pop and give chills to someone younger. So maybe we'll get that for something else. But overall, I liked the episode. I felt it worked well. I felt the suspense, the literal ticking clock, helped the episode move. It moved at a decent pace. It got to a little slow start before they got to the house. It was kind of meandering. We had the typical Mrs. Hart. She's not a real witch. She kind of wanders off from the group and is in peril, but we know nothing's going to happen to her at the start of the episode, things like that. So kind of a wasted scene. Kind of wish they would have gotten to the house sooner. But it doesn't take them that long to get to the house. It was just kind of like the opening scene, the opening couple minutes of the show kind of drag and are kind of pointless. They don't really do anything to the episode. They could have really cut that down with a line or two and then gotten them to the house sooner to move on with the trial. But, I mean, that's really my only complaint. Well, I have one other complaint that I'll get to. My only real complaint of the episode, decent enough episode. Again, I'm not going to say like anybody who dislikes Agatha All Along is wrong. It's kind of like a middle of the road kind of show. It's not great. It's not bad. Everything's subjective. But as far as, I'm going to reiterate on this, as far as anyone who thinks this is like a DEI show or diversity for diversity's sake, or that's what they're doing here, it doesn't come off as that. It's a show. It does have a diverse cast, but we don't know how they cast this show, and there's no like message of inclusion or we all have to be in a world of the Benetton rainbow for all those 80 kids out there. You know what that is, kind of thing like that. So there's no like hitting your head with some sort of message kind of thing like that. So it's just a show, just happens to have a diverse cast, which may have been on purpose, may have just been casting like, oh, this actress is perfect for this role, kind of thing like that. So yeah, so I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea, but hopefully that's not why it's not your cup of tea. You just you don't like the show, and that's perfectly fine. The show does end on a bit of a cliffhanger and a joke, and the joke does not land at all. Like, I saw what they were going for with that joke, but it didn't even get like a smirk from me, like that's a bad joke. Because it tries to play on a running gag throughout throughout episode 2 through this. It tries to play on a running gag about Mrs. Hart not being Mrs. Hart. That was her name in WandaVision. Her name's Susan. And she keeps correcting people when they call her Mrs. Hart. She's like, it's Susan. And the episode ends on a joke about that running joke. And again, the running gag throughout the episode about that just wasn't funny at all. It was just kind of like, all right, they either need to call her Susan or she just needs to accept she's Mrs. Hart. Kind of like if you've got buddies and they call you by a nickname, even if you hate the nickname, eventually you just have to accept that's your nickname and just move on. And it's just not a good running gag. It's almost like the How I Met Your Mother episode with Vanessa from Deadpool, where she plays a barista, and instead of putting Barney on his coffee cup, she puts Swarley, and they keep calling him Swarley, except they did that in creative ways to keep the joke going, where this one is just they call her Mrs. Hart throughout the episode and she corrects them, which not funny. So like I said, that joke didn't land at the end of the episode, but it does end on a cliffhanger. But I would say out of a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably 5.5 or 6. It's middle of the road. We had some good suspense. We had a couple thrilling scenes, but I mean, it does move the plot forward. But I mean, it's nothing special. Like, if I would do like Jeremy Johns' scale, it's like, I'm gonna forget I won't remember this in 2 days. T minus, yep, it's gone. Kind of thing like that. Kind of like his review scale. That's how I would say this episode is. It's middle of the road. I'm gonna forget about it, and I might need the recap at the start of next week's episode, kind of thing. So about a 5.5, 6, somewhere around there. It's more good than bad. But we are gonna come to, I don't know if this is gonna be a running thing for my reviews, but we are going to have theories on who this teen is. And obviously the prevailing theory from the first 2 episodes from a lot of people are he's Billy, Wanda's brunette son, who's has her powers, Wiccan powers. That's a theory. But then we find out that Agatha traded her son for the Darkhold, so maybe it's her son come back, or manifestation of her son. And we do get Mephisto referenced in here when Billy is talking. Not Bill. I called him Billy. When the teen is talking to, man, I gotta write down the witches' names because Agatha's the only one I remember. When Billy's talking to the one witch who does the cauldron and stuff like that, she mentions Mephisto, that maybe Agatha traded the kid to Mephisto or something like that. So we get a Mephisto reference. So maybe Mephisto's going to be in the show, which leads me to my third theory about who this teen may be. Maybe he's Mephisto. Maybe he is hidden. He's pretending to be this teen boy to, I don't know, catch Agatha, get all these witches, make a deal with them. Who knows what Mephisto does? He is the literal devil in the Marvel Universe. So really cool that we get a Mephisto reference, because I think it's the first official Mephisto reference in the MCU. I know he's been alluded to, but I don't recall him being mentioned by name. So if he has been and I just missed it or I forgot about it, let me know in the comments below. But so that is the review for this week. Like I said, decent show, middle of the road kind of thing like that. Had some good thrills, light on the laughs. I'm trying to think if there was any joke. There was maybe a joke or two that I chuckled at, but nothing super funny or anything like that. Katherine Hahn was very subdued acting-wise in this episode. Nothing really over the top like she has been as Agatha, of note. But all the cast work well together. I like their chemistry. So that's something to look forward to with the further episodes. So yeah, I'm ready for episode 4. Middle of the road episode, 5.5, 6 out of 10 on this one. But yeah, so let me know what you thought of the episode if you've watched it. Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you like. Leave a dislike if you want. If you want to see more Agatha reviews as well as other product reviews, game reviews, and other stuff I do on this channel, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Take care now. Bye.